MEB, medboard. Going through the medboard process. How does it start? How does it work? What do you got to do, or what should you do? Um, so MEB, you get you get hurt, you get injured, right? You go to sick hall. Say I get hurt this. I say I get hurt today, right? That day, um, I tell my first line leader, hey, I got hurt. Um, the next day I'll go to sick hall, right? But hey, I got hurt yesterday. I'm going to sick hall. From sick hall, they'll be like, hey, go make an appointment at the clinic or go to the emergency room. Depends on the, you know, how injured you are, and then the doc, the 68 whiskey guy, from the sick hall needs to vouch that hey, yeah, this guy's jacked up or whatever the case. So you go there, you do that, or say you got hurt 2 weeks ago, you didn't gotta go to sick hall. You just tell your first line like, "Hey, I'm gonna make an appointment at the clinic." So you go, um, and you make an appointment. All right, you tell them what's wrong with you when you got hurt, and then you'll get evaluated at the clinic. So you get a profile, right? The clinic or sick call, you get a profile, or you'll get a profile from the clinic, your primary. They used to call it PCM. So you go to your PCM and be like, oh man, your ankle hurts. Oh, it's swollen. Okay, let's see if it's broken or not. Let's go get you some X-rays or let's go get you an MRI. And then here's some inflammation meds, and let's keep you off your foot for X amount of days. So here's your temporary profile. Say it gets broken, right? This is just an example. I'm giving you an example so you could base it off of that. So you get hurt, you're hurt, you got your profile, it's temporary, and then you get your follow up with your PCM, like, oh wow, hey, based off of your X-rays, your MRI, yep, it's broke. You either get surgery or you go to physical therapy. The PCM is supposed to tell you what you have to do, but you need to be your own advocate and say, hey, it hurts. Hey, I can't do this, I can't do that. Tell them your limitations, your personal limitations, and tell them your MOS and what you do on the daily functions. Because if you're not telling them, they're not gonna care. If you don't open your mouth and speak, no one's gonna know what you're thinking, how you feel, or whatnot. So you need to be your own advocate and speak up for yourself and be like, no, sir, no, ma'am, this how it is. When your flexion test or mobility test, like this hurts, that hurts. What do you want me to do? All right, you could have that big old ego, but at the end of your career, you're gonna be all jacked up and broke. That's the bottom line. You don't want that. So, you know, you have your follow up. They say, hey, it's broke. Hey, I'm instead of a P1 profile, a temporary profile, I'm gonna have you as a P2 profile. That will go on for 3 to 6 months, 9 months. After a year of that same profile, you keep getting it updated, right? Because you have a certain amount of time from this day to this day. This profile is active, and then you go for a follow up, and then if it's still the injury hasn't healed or whatnot, then you would just get after a year you'll get a permanent profile. After that permanent profile, if you can't do your job, if you absolutely can't do your job, or you can't take a ACFT, or you can't go to schools because you're just broke, you're just a broke dude, then they're gonna push you towards the med board. The med board process. Your Peblo is your point of contact. They're gonna contact you, or IDES. You're gonna get a rating from the VA, and you're gonna get a rating from whatever military branch you're from. So, for instance, if I'm in the Army, all my medical follow-ups and all this. Every time I went to the doctors, I was telling the doctors, hey, this hurts, that hurts, I can't do this, I can't do that. Last time I seen you, this was the issue. You gave me these meds. I feel tired, I feel sluggish, I don't think, if I go to um, going to the field is gonna help my situation, because you have to put it on your gear. And if you absolutely can't move on and truck on, then say something, because if you're in a fire team or whatever, and if you can't do your job as a fire team, or you're the weakest link, and your weakest link is your strongest guy. So you gotta square that away. Take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your team. You can't do your job, and you're just gonna suck. That's the bottom line. So take care of yourself. That whole ego crap. Don't go to sick call, this and that. Those are for the birds, man. Don't listen to these guys that are broke themselves, and they don't want to take the initiative to take care of themselves because they don't care about themselves. Don't do that. Care about yourself, love yourself. If you're happy, you're gonna push out that happiness, the good vibes to other people's. And if you're not happy, then obviously no one's gonna want to be around you. But continuity. As I was telling you, the whole medboard process, you're gonna put your claims in of my back hurts, my knee hurts, stuff like that. If you have MRIs, you have X-rays, you did physical therapy. Physical therapy was like, hey, I can't touch you. I'm gonna refer you to the chiropractic care. Chiropractic care is like, hey, your back's not even cracking. I'm gonna refer you to pain management. Pain management is like, hey, did you do physical therapy? Yeah, and they said, they referred me here. They kept referring you. They kept escalating your treatment, and because you were not that guy that could get fixed overnight. It was treatment that you kept going and going and going, and that's continuity. That's called continuity, to where your treatment of care is consistent. If they see a break of your appointments, or they see a break that you didn't take your meds or whatnot, then they'll be like, oh, this guy's fine. He's good. Don't worry about it. He's cool. But if you have a trail, a continuity of like, hey, yeah, he's taking his medication. He's on point with his refills. He understands his milligrams. He knows the medication that he's taking. Like, oh yeah, this guy, yeah, he's a real deal. Because there's guys that are like, oh yeah, I'm taking my meds, and they're not taking them, and they're just fiddling with the system, trying to slip through the system, and those guys ain't cool, because it messes up for the rest of the guys that are really hurt. Those guys are called turds. They just want to be in the back. They want to be all fat. They don't want to pass an ACFT. They don't want to. They're busting tape because they got a big old donut around them, and because they've been a E4 for like 5 years, they get pushed to go to the board, and they don't even have to go to the board because they've been in for so long that they just get their P status automatically, and then they have a year to go to BLC, and like they didn't even deserve it. They didn't deserve it. I know one guy, he didn't deserve it. And he's still fat and crappy soldier. He was a soldier when I touched down to Fort Hood, and he was a shit soldier when I was there, and he's still a crappy soldier now. And that's another reason why I did want to get out, because I just seen people that were getting promoted and they didn't deserve to get promoted because, look at their appearance. They look like a Michelin tire dude in their uniform. You just see all these rolls, and they're trying to get bigger uniforms because they don't want to lose weight or whatever. But anyways, I'm ranting off. I hate that. But anyways, so continuity. Go to your appointments. Make appointments. Make follow-ups. Go to your appointments. If you're really that hurt, go make your appointments, because during the med board, they're going to take all that into consideration. They're going to see how many referrals you got to aquatherapy, acupuncture, physical therapy, The say chiropractor, neurology. You get pain management. It's a big thing. You can do yoga. You could do movement therapy. You could do pain, um, pain psychology. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of stuff that you can go to. Um, and this is just like for your physical stuff. I'll tell you another time about behavioral health, mental stuff. But and then your medications, stay on point with your medications. Know what you're taking. If you know it's not working, then tell them like, hey, this works okay, but it's not doing the job. Um, they say, oh, what's your pain from 1 to 10? If you say you're a 5, they're gonna be like, okay, well, you're good to go. If you say a 6, they're gonna be like, okay, let's see what's going on. But if you say 7, 7, 8, 9, or 10, then they're gonna like, you know, they're gonna look at you more closer. Because I mean, 7, you're just having a bad day. It's hard to move. 8, you're in pain. It's kind of unbearable. 9, it's like it's unbearable. It stops you in your tracks, and you're just having a bad time. 10, they always used to tell me, well, if you feel like you have a 10, then you should be in the ER right now. Like, Roger, I'm going to sick call, so sick call can send me to the ER, guy. Thank you. But so there's that. So there's those two: continuity, and then medication. Be on point with your medication. Documentation. Get documentation. Try to get the notes from the doctors. Try to get all your records of when you went to sick call, you went to the doctors, your schedule slip. Keep all that stuff. You're gonna need it one day, or they might say like, oh, we're moving to a different system, Genesis or whatever, and then all your stuff is lost, right? All your stuff is lost. So just like you have a I love you book, all your decorations, all you did, excuse me, all schools you went to, all your certificates and all that stuff, it goes in your I love you book. Every time you PCS, every time you went anywhere, medical stuff, all that goes into your I love you book. Well, you need to create a MEB book where it has all your medications, all your letters from the doctors. If you get a letter of like, hey, what's my diagnosis? How long is this gonna last? And is it even curable? Those are the things that when you go to QTC, that's the stuff that the QTC examiners are gonna want and they need. Small, short paragraph. It doesn't need to be a novel. It doesn't need to be 100 pages. It's just a nice little paragraph of like, hey, so and so, I seen him on this day. I've been treating him from this length of time, and these are his limitations. This is what he can do. This is what he can't do. This is his diagnosis. This is how long he's he's not gonna be cured within a year, and he's not gonna overcome this within 3 years. And then boom, there it is. That's all the information that the QTC third-party examiner needs. QTC is a third party. That's when you go to your CMP exam. You fill out a big old packet of all your claims. So whatever claims that you got in your MEB, that's what you're gonna go to. So audio, with your ears, man. It's with your ears. So they give you, oh, did you wear earbuds growing up? Did you wear the Beats headphones? If you say you wear the earbuds, and like, oh well, that's why you have tinnitus is because of the earbuds. Like they're gonna want to see what caused your ear damage. Did you wear your earplugs properly when you went to the field? Were you even wearing it? Like were you taking the proper precautions to take care of yourself? And they're gonna say like, oh well, that's on you, or no, that's on the Army. That's service related. The service connected. Service connected. Boom. Then you'll get like a 10% rating for tinnitus, right? And that's with everything else. If you say, I hear stories like, oh yeah, I got hurt before the Army and I didn't say nothing, and then I went in, and now my you know now my injury got exacerbated from the army. Right. So that's a story, or a story of like I got hurt during my service, and then it's service connected. Because if it's not service connected, then they're not gonna help you with it. You could get 0%, and they'll say service connected, and then you could still get help from that. And say you get older, and then you that 0% might turn into another percent, might turn to 10, 20, 30, 40. But because it's service connected, that's gonna work in your favor in the long run. And say you get out with 60%, then you could probably appeal later, and then you could get a higher rating, because of the injury was exacerbated. Be patient. Patient is another one. Be patient. The medboard is a long process. Be in contact with your Pueblo a lot. Whatever email dialogue that you're having, make sure the Pueblo is tracking it. And if the QTC exam, if you're hurt, you're hurt, man. If you can't, don't take your ego out when you go in that QTC building. When you're taking your physical examination, if you can't move to the left or right, don't do it. If you feel pain, don't do it. Stop when you feel the pain, because if you like grunt through it and like, yeah, I'm that dude. Yeah, I'm not hurt. I'm hurt, but I could still do it. Once you feel pain, stop, man. Stop right there once you feel the pain, because no one cares, right? And if you pass a certain extension, if you pass a certain inches or millimeters of their testing, if you pass that certain ruler mark, then like, oh no, he's good. But really, after you take that test, you're hurt for like the rest of the week, because you're just jacked up. But you learn through the army or the military how to just gut through stuff. Like, you're a turd if you go to sick call, or you're a turd if you try to take care of yourself. I mean, take care of yourself. Who cares? Who cares what anyone says about you? When you get out, all those people that talk crap about you, they ain't gonna be there, and no one's gonna call you either. You think you're gonna have friends when you get out? Man, I talk to like maybe 2 people, if that, maybe 2 people. It's not because I'm a bad person or anything. It's just I just didn't. We didn't click. Different lifestyles. People want to get into alcoholism and chain smoke and cheat and all this craziness, and I wasn't about that. I don't like that. I don't condone that. So I was solo most of the time, but it was cool. I enjoyed my time. I did my thing. Be your own advocate. I'm gonna tell you all the time. Be your own advocate. Talk about being your own advocate is you gotta. Yes, you're in the military. Yes, you gotta be professional. But no, you don't need to take crap from nobody. If you got something to say it with your chest. Say it professionally. And if it makes sense to you, then speak up. If I had doctors telling me like, "Oh, your back is not that bad. You got 2 bulging discs, and your sciatica. Your disc is pushing into your nerves, and your lumbar is detached from your vertebrae. But you're good. I seen worse. I seen people with 3 bulging discs. I'm like, ooh, I have 2, but this other guy has 3. So because we could just gut through it, we're fine. Like, no. It gets worse from there. It goes downhill. It's not. There's no magic pill you take and boom, you're all good to go. Once you mess your back up, you're messed up for life. You could tweak it, putting your socks on, or picking something up off the floor that's like less than 2-3 pounds, and you could tweak your back and get hurt. So if you feel it in your heart that you're hurt, tell them you're hurt, sir, ma'am. Like, I contest what you're saying, or like, no, I know my body and I don't feel right. I don't feel okay. Be your own advocate, because at the end of the day, no one cares. No one's gonna get fired. if they didn't do their job, they'll get demoted or they'll get some extra duty, but no one's gonna get fired. It's not gonna happen. Um, so whether they treat you properly or not, that's up to you. And if you have a spouse that's just down for you, tell your spouse to go in there with you. Tell your spouse to be an advocate for you, because you got to be professional because you wear that uniform. But my wife don't need professionalism because she's a spouse. She don't wear no uniform. She goes up in there and she's like, "Hey, like, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like, why am I hearing this?" And they gotta say something. They can't do what they do me. Like, you'll be all right. Here's a profile. Here's some muscle spasm medicine, and you'll be all right. I seen worse. I was like, well, just because having a hurt back, messed up back is normal in the army, because you know you ruck, you're running a lot. It's a physical job. So people don't take care of themselves or whatever. But yeah, so that's that. Be your own advocate. So continuity. Go to your appointments. Um, be transparent. Let them know that you're hurt. Excuse me. Your medication. Keep track of your medication. Don't veer off of it. Know what you're taking. Know the milligrams, because I've been in a position where they're like over here trying to, like, what do you take? How do you spell that? What's the milligrams? How long you been taking it? I'm like, what? Like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, what? What? I know what's up. What? I ain't no turd. I'm doing my job. I'm trying to take care of myself. What? You know? Documentation. Keep all your documentation. Just like an I Love You book. Have an MEB book. And just be patient, a lot of people need to sign off on your packet. A lot of people need to review your stuff. So it may take 3 months, it may take 6 months, it may take a year. I don't know. They're trying to find out if you're a real medboard case where, this guy is hurt, he's unfit for duty, he can't do his job, or hey, do you want to reclass? No, I don't want to reclass. I want to stay in my MOS. I'm like, no, you can't because you're unfit. Okay, so you got to go. So there's options, or they'll ask you want to go National Guard, you want to go reserves, like they'll ask you all that stuff. And then just be patient with all that, and yeah, like I said, be your own advocate. I can't stress that enough, to be your own advocate. Ain't nothing gonna happen to you when you speak up for yourself. When it comes to medical stuff, ain't no one gonna tell you no. You bring your spouse in, or hell, call Congress. Like, if you're not getting that right treatment and you're hurt, be your own advocate. Speak up. Be a man or be a woman. Handle your business, and uh, step up to the plate. That's what you can do. That's all you can do. What else? That's about it. That's the MEB. You go to a bunch of briefings. When you get your sign-off sheet to clear posts, ask, what's the order? What's the order do I go by? All this stuff. Because I remember I had to do 20 things, and they're like, oh, you got to do number 18 before you do number 3, and you got to sign off on number 4, 5, and 6 before you go to whatever. Like, there was a detailed order of where you had to go. It's like, oh no, you can't. You got to sign off at the hospital before you get signed out with finance and blah blah blah, and get all the addresses down. Go link up with people that are going through the medboard process, so you can ask them, like, hey, what's those packets about? They're gonna tell you, oh, you have to make an appointment. It's called TAPS. You gotta make your appointment. But most of the time, you just walk in. You just go in there. You just walk in. And that's that. You just walk in. Make sure you're hitting up travel. Travel, that's a big one. If you're going to ETS, or if you're buying a house, or you got to move out the barracks or whatever, make sure you clear the barracks. Like, you got to clear everything, man. Like, for the in process, there's an out process, and whatever you in process in, you're gonna out process out. If you got signed off with stuff from supply in your unit, make sure every SI you got, and you got supply there to sign off on your stuff, and everything's Gucci, because you don't want to get that where it's like, oh hey, person, you owe this much money, you didn't turn this in. And accountability, well, if your name was on there and it was signed out to you because your platoon sergeant signed it out to you, because the platoon sergeant don't want to take charge of all that money, then they divvy it out. They put it out to the section. So the commander will sign it out to, I don't know, supply will divvy it out to the platoon sergeants will divvy it out to squad leaders, team leaders, privates. And good luck if you're RTO, because you're gonna sign for that stuff, and then you're in charge of the radios and blah blah blah. So documentation is key. If you are going through the medboard and you want to turn in your CIF early, go get that medboard documentation saying like, hey, you are going through a medboard. Go get your commander to write you out a memo saying like, yeah, he's going through a medboard. I authorize him to turn in his CIF. Make sure your CIF is clean. Ask your battles like, hey man, like you got some stuff, I'm missing this, I'm missing that, and maybe they'll help you out. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so that's all I got. MEB, it's a long process. It's a stressful process, but once you get through it, you'll be all right. But keep in mind continuity, your medication, documentation, having patience, and being your own advocate. If you do all that stuff, you're going to be just fine. And you're a soldier all the way up until you get out and you get your DD-214. So don't be going all crazy. Don't be drinking while you're in the MEB process, because you don't really have to go to work. Your place of duty is at your appointments. You're probably going to lose your team or your squad, or whatever rank you are. You're probably going to lose. You're not going to be on the line. So you're going to be in the back seat taking care of yourself. So TA, go to school. I'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, MEB, it's a scary thing. You don't know what you're going to get, what ratings you're going to get. Make sure you do get 30% out the door at least, so you could be medically retired. But other than that, good luck. I ain't no guru. I can only tell you from my experience. And, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments section. And yeah, it's all good. It's all love. Take care.